Bat Force Radio.
Bat Force Radio is rated M for mature, or should that be immature?
Hey guys, Dustin Wynn.
Hey, this is Scott Snyder.
This is Paul Dini.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
You're listening to Bat Force Radio.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and you're listening to Bat Force Radio, so stay tuned.
And what's up, everyone? This is episode 10 of the Everything Batman podcast. I'm your host, Dunk. If you don't know me as Dunk, it's Everything Batman. Today, we're going to carry the episode a different route. Con season started. I haven't been around in a while for obvious reasons because con season started. But now we have a panel, and we're going to discuss the last couple of weeks of what con season has been. Starting with the panel, of course, our producer / co-host, as always, BatForceTom.
What's up?
Coming back again for the second time around, we have our buddy over here, Sammy Warm Hands.
Howdy.
Check out the jacket, though. We have our bro, Bat Force Grumps from the Grumps and Gramps and Bat Force Radio.
Merry Christmas.
And for the first time on our show, we have the Nando Knight, our buddy Fernando over in Cali.
Hey.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Can I just say I felt really weird being introduced before Grumps. That's not right.
Well, it's what happens when you got the jacket on, man.
That jacket gets a lot of attention, man.
He's the number one guy. He's the number one guy.
Looking like Killer Cam with that purple. Well, for the last couple of weeks, we had some cons flying out and going on. And today's actually the 18th, Saturday, December. This episode's going to air right before Christmas. But we went through this whole series of Comic-Cons towards the end of the year, which is kind of odd. We went through Thanksgiving weekend, which is San Diego Comic-Con, which none of us attended. Because how do you have a Comic-Con the weekend of Thanksgiving, which is nuts? Just trying to make some money. But right after that weekend, we had LA Comic-Con and Emerald City the same weekend, which Tom and Nando went to LA, Sammy went to Emerald City, and the weekend after that was C2E2 in Chicago, which I attended. And we're going to talk about those experiences. For starters, all right, let's all go through the panel and let's all talk about our first experiences at Comic-Con, at any Comic-Con. Let's go with Tom. What was your first experience at a Comic-Con?
Man, I'm trying to remember. Well, I guess you gotta I gotta do a two for one because the first time I ever went to a con was like a very small one in like the like a ballroom or like a conference room of the Burbank Airport or the Hilton Burbank Airport. Across the street from the airport in Burbank, and it's just like. It was tiny. It was like retailers, a couple of autographs. Like Bai Ling was like the biggest headlining actress. I think she had like just starred in Lost. She just like guest starred. That was like the last thing she had done. She was a guest star on Lost, so her name was like everywhere. So she was there. Like I think the Revenge of the Nerds was having some sort of like anniversary. So There was like 6 dudes from the first 2 Revenge of the Nerds movies. Elvira was there, and then it was all like comic collectors with their boxes and all these like vinyl and record collectors. So I went mostly for the comics and for the records. And that was dope because, living in like Southern California, the Burbank area, there's a lot of people who collect both comics and records. So I was like in heaven just picking through that. I was there for like a couple hours just kind of doing that. But the first San Diego Comic-Con I ever went to, I want to say it was like 2010 was 2010. I think it was 2010.
OG.
Yeah, and that was I feel like that was right before it like blew the fuck up. Like that was I think the biggest thing at the time. I can't remember if that was one of the years where like the second or third Twilight movie was there, and so that's when Hollywood really got involved because they saw like what fans what fandom does. Yeah, like people were going fucking like. Unfortunately, I believe that was the year where someone died. I think they got like hit by a car, like crossing the street trying to get to like Hall H or something. But because there were so many people, so I think Hollywood started getting involved around like 2000, between 2008 and 2010. I think is when like they really got heavy with the Hall H and television shows and movies. So over the next 2 years after that, like it fucking exploded, and it just became less about like comics, more about movies. Which, to each their own. If you're into that stuff, you probably love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy experience.
Nice. Grumps, how about you, man? You're like the OG when it comes to comics out here.
Yeah, it was probably the 80s. I mean, and it was actual Comic Con, like tables of comics and toys.
Like the basement?
And there was one church basement that I used to go to. They would have a Comic Con every once in a while.
Whoa.
Well, yeah. Were they selling Bibles or comics, bro?
Different. There's a different podcast, Grumps, but
yeah, right.
Oh my God, an awesome God.
Not gonna slander the Catholic Church in this podcast.
They do it plenty themselves, Grumps. Don't you worry.
What else? There was some Pennsylvania hotel across the street from Madison Square Garden. Used to have a Comic Con. But it was back. It was just 95% comics. Some toys. Like in those days, you would see. Now everybody gets shit at the same time, right? But like in those days, you would see like toys that weren't supposed to be out for 6 months and shit. Like, oh my God, it'd be a big deal. And then creators would be, they weren't fucking, stars like they are today. They weren't sectioned off. They would be, at tables like right there. It would be most cons that I went to as a kid were just a big square room and tables all around the room. So the creators would be right there next to people selling shit. It's completely different
It's
now.
just like 100% artist alley, just the whole thing.
Basically, I mean, yeah, kind of like that, And you could walk up the day of and buy a ticket and walk in. You didn't,
Nice.
Not the madness that it is. Well, for New York City Comic Con anyway. But.
Yeah, people had too many kids.
Yeah. Well, it's before like fucking. I'm figuring. Never mind. Keep going. I don't want to say. I was about to. Oh man, I was about to say something.
Rant incoming.
Yeah.
How about you, Sammy? What was like your first con like?
I just looked it up because I wasn't sure the year, but I had always been really wanting to indulge this side of myself. I've been a musician my whole life. And so that was always where all my money went, right? And over the years, I kind of started giving into it a little bit more. And the last few has just been like, all right, fuck it, right? So 2015 was the first ever UCon, which is the Eugene, Oregon Comic Con. And they hadn't done one, I guess, in 10 years prior to this new guy taking over. And so my wife and I, we went. It was on her birthday, November 11th, and it kind of became a tradition. We went like 3 years in a row, and then they took a year off, and I wound up going up to Portland to Rose City instead and seeing kind of a legit bigger one. The one down here was very like, they had cosplay and they had like the 66 Batmobile. That was super cool.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like it was just at the fairgrounds here in town. And, it was for the most part, just kind of smaller artists. There was not really a lot of names or anything like that. But it was fun, and it was finally here. And, doing that 3 years in a row really kind of got the hunger going. And like, that's coinciding with as I'm really starting to collect and, getting into, like the quarter scale NECA figures and maybe some hot toys. And like, a lot of those doors kind of opened for me around that period. So,
nice.
I really have them to thank.
That's awesome. So Nando, how about you, man? What was like your first con experience?
Well, I don't know any better. And what happened was my very first con experience was San Diego Comic Con. So it was, yeah, I was.
Set the bar.
Yeah, it was all downhill from there. 2015 was my first con that I went to, and it was because of who I get to work for, and it was like I had an avenue in, so it was really good to get in for that and see the experience with that. And it was more about, for me, like just trying to soak in the experience. Then it was like, well, this is what San Diego looks like, right? And it was cool because it was all this big stuff and all these different studios were here, and you had all the panels and all this stuff. But then, like, my first con, I didn't even go through Artist Alley. Like, I didn't even make it to Artist Alley because I was like so stuck trying to find exclusives, trying to find vendors, trying to do the different things, taking pictures in places and stuff. And I didn't even get to basically experience what a comic con was. So I was so like thirsty for it that I ended up going to WonderCon the next year, and that was my first like con where I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go get a signature. I'm gonna go find an artist. And after that, we went to Kamikaze Con, which is now LA Comic Con. So,
nice.
And the first one we did was around Stan Lee's birthday, and we did that one, and that was a big deal for the Kamikaze Con because that used to be Stan Lee's Kamikaze Con, and then it transitioned into LA Comic Con. So my first experience was San Diego, and it kind of wrecked me forever because after that I'm like, oh, these smaller ones are like, man, there's like nothing really happening. And then you learn that it was like, it's not really about all the big stuff going on. It's about getting to meet the artists, getting to really go through the creators and seeing all of them. That was really the real fun of the adventure.
That's awesome. I was kind of spoiled myself too. For those that don't know, I was working with Teasus in this accessories company where we had licenses for DC and Marvel. And for Teasus, he's a designer. His homework was to go to Comic-Con and like, go over and just like look at, try to get ideas, because as a designer, as an artist, is what he is. You have to look at different ideas, and he was a comic book reader. I was when I was younger, but I stopped for so many years. And I remember 2016, he was like, yo, if I get you into Comic-Con, would you go? And I remember it was like it's a Friday evening. We left early. And one of the designers was like, oh, here's my ticket. And I was like, all right. I was in New York City Comic-Con for maybe 3 hours. Lost my fucking mind. Now you will see me in New York City Comic-Con all 4 days, and probably another like 3 to 5 Comic-Cons anywhere in the country at minimum going forward. But at first it was just like, holy shit, a bunch of nerds. We're all nerds. This is dope. No one's like sizing someone else up. Like, everyone's just focused on what they got to do. And there's different avenues. There's anime, there's DC, there's cosplay, there's Marvel, there's people who want to buy stuff, there's people who want signatures, there's people who want to get stuff graded. I had no idea of any of this until like 3 years ago, when I was like, oh shit, there's so many reasons why other people come here. And now I'm kind of weathered, and now it's like, oh yeah, I'm standing in line, I'm the 150th person in line, I'm gonna get what I want. Not even worried anymore, because now after so many cons, you already know that at a certain position you're gonna get what you want. And yeah, from the first Comic-Con to now, it's nuts.
It's kind of an education, man. Like you said, you do it enough times, and like Nando was saying, like, oh, I kind of only saw this the first time, and the more you do it and really get into it, it's just so much fun. Like,
practice, practice.
Yeah. Like every time, you feel like, oh, okay, now I think I know, right?
Yeah.
And then there's even more, and yeah, dude, it's been so much fun. I think I've probably been to, I don't know, 6 or so now, and in 4 different cities. And it's cool because like seeing the variety of how everybody does it, who shows up, like, it's just, it's really cool to keep diving deeper.
Go ahead,
I'm in my DKR stage of con going, Just
The ultimate grumpy
2019, I
stage.
think. Yeah, it was. I don't know if Dunk remembers. I know like the last one or two cons we were at together. I was like, there's no old comics here. That was the thing. Like you would go to
Yes.
a con and search for old comics, which people don't. I guess they don't do too much in person anymore. They do it online, eBay, whatever.
Dude, come out to
However,
Seattle, man. There was a lot. I was
yeah,
surprised. Like Silver Age, even some Golden Age.
I think
There were a lot of good vendors there.
I think a lot of that has changed, Grumps, and we'll get into that because that's what I noticed a lot this year when it came to the limited amount of people that came to cons because of the vaccinations and we're still in a pandemic and there's no like major vendors. I think cons this year, and again, not from experience, I feel a lot more cons this year went back to what cons used to be, and we'll definitely get into that. The next thing I want to get into is like what was your expectations for us that went to cons this year? Because we went 2020 where a boatload of shit got canceled. I think C2E2 was the last major con in February. Then the next one was like Dallas Fan Expo, and I got blackballed because of fucking COVID. And then I had this whole schedule I wanted. I had like 5 cons I got to go to, and COVID happened. Whatever's best for the population. So much shit got canceled, but like here we are in 2021, right? Second half of the year, and we hear all these cons are actually going to happen, and you have to have your vaccine passport. You have to wear your mask and whatever. What was your expectation going into these Comic Cons? We have LA, Emerald City, and C2E2. So Tom, what was your expectation going into LA Comic Con?
So I was only able to make it out for one day of the 3-day con. I don't know. I mean, I think you guys kind of mentioned it a little bit. There was like a 3-year period when I would like have a to-do list, and I'd take like a stack of books. I'd have like a print or whatever I would take. I need to get this signature. I'm gonna get this book graded. There was a couple of years where like all I did was go and get stuff signed and graded by CGC, and like that was like the first 2 years of like hitting cons pretty hard. And then as the years progressed, like as I go back more and more to San Diego, I realized like I don't want to fucking carry anything ever. So my goal every con now is to either at least one. If I'm there for multiple days, I'm gonna go in one day at least where I'm not carrying shit. Where like all I have is my badge. I'm not carrying any bags. I'm not carrying any books. Like if I pick something up day of, that's awesome. Like I'm not going, and that's usually like I love doing that because the least amount of expectations I have, the more surprised I am with the stuff I get into. So like there was one year, and the thing too is like I just hit cons so hard before that I know I'll never top like a certain year. There was one year at San Diego where I got selfies. I got stuff signed by Grant Morrison. I got a selfie hugging him. That
Awesome.
Same con, I got a picture with Dan DiDio, may he rest in peace, and Jim Lee. I got a selfie at that same con with Capullo and Snyder.
That the one with the pen? Was that like you were like yelling for the pen?
No, that was Legends, and that was a
Legends?
different con. That was like the year after. I'll tell that story in a second. Okay, so one year I got Jeff Johns, Grant Morrison, Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Lee Bermejo at the cafe across the street. James, no, not what was his name? Temple Smith.
You were hunting.
Temple Smith was doing like he called it Squid Con, where he wasn't actually showing at the con. He was just hanging out at the Hilton Bar across the street, and you can come and chill with him, get stuff signed, commissions or whatever. That same con. Oh God, I'm trying to remember. Like that year, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking top this. Like, I'm not gonna be able to like meet these many amazing creators ever again at the same time. So that was like the best year I ever did that at. The one year you're talking about. So one, and the thing is like I figured out San Diego Comic Con. So if I wanted to, I could replicate a day or a weekend like that because I just know how to work it now with San Diego because it's like I know how it's ran. So one of the years where we were up on the second level, we were sitting for a panel or something. We were coming out of a panel, and as we're coming out of a panel, Dan DiDio was walking down the hallway, and I recognized him right away. So I walked up to him, and like the way I do it, man, like I imagine if this was me, like I wouldn't want a fucking sweaty fat fuck like running up to me, making a scene, yelling my name, and all that shit. So whenever I meet somebody, I try to be like really cool. Like I just try to be real low key because I don't want to bring attention to them and have them have the bad interaction. So, and I think he was with, I don't know if it's his like wife, fiance, girlfriend, whatever, but he was with someone. And so I didn't want to like, put him out. So I just very casually walked up to him and I said, "Hey, Dan." And this was like right after Rebirth. Like Rebirth had just come out like a couple of months before. Obviously Rebirth was killing it at that time, because they kind of went back to a lot of the old shit. They brought in, they were supposed to have a lot of the old characters come back. Like Blue Beetle was in there. The Legion of Superheroes was there, all this shit. Anyways, so I go up to Dan, which is funny if you know about Rebirth, because he fucking didn't want Rebirth to happen at all. But I walked up to him and I was like, "Hey, Dan, I just want to say, man, I'm really enjoying Rebirth. Like, the first couple of months have been great. Like, I really appreciate what DC's doing. I just wanted to say thank you." And I just shook his hand, and he's like, "Oh, wait, you know what? Thank you so much. We love hearing a reader's tell us. We love feedback from the read. What book specifically do you love?" And wow. I was like, actually, the Rebirth special was awesome. I thought, like, I loved it because you kind of tied everything in and you explained, and it kind of gave hope to the future and something. "Oh yeah, we love hearing about." And so he's like and then all of a sudden you just hear this fucking like 20 feet away, "Dad, can I get your signature?" And it's Legends running up behind me with he's got his book of, he's got like it's like the illustrated history of DC Comics. I think Jason Fabok did like the covers on it, and so he's got that, and he's got all the creators, like he's got a fucking shit ton of people signing that right now. So he's like, "Can you sign my book?" And then Dan's like, "Oh yeah, sure. You got a pen?" And then Legends realizes he doesn't have a pen. He goes, "Does anyone have a pen? Does anyone have a pen?"
So you guys went the opposite approach here.
Oh man, and so like, so I'm just standing like, "God damn it, Legends!" And then so this like security guard was so nice. He like had a Sharpie, pulls a Sharpie out, gives it to Legends. Legends gets his signature, and then we're off on our way. But yeah, that was that year. But as far as like, that's a long story just to say. As far as like LA Comic Con this year, I was debating whether I should do the Frank Miller. Frank Miller was going to be there for I think 2 days.
Yeah, and Saturday, right?
Saturday only. Okay, it was
Saturday
the day
only.
Yeah, it was the day I went, and he had like a couple of packages. There's $100 package where it's like, for $100 you get one thing signed and you meet him. Okay, then he had like a $300 package, which was like 4 items signed or a selfie, whatever. And then he had like a $600 package, and the $600 was like five or six items, front of the line, and like a print and a selfie or some shit like that. It was like whatever. Yeah. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's $100 for one signature. I'm like, what would I take? I've got a lot of Frank Miller stuff signed. I've met him already. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not worth it. I'd do like I guess a 300. And I'm looking at 300 and like, and I'm like, hey, you know what, man? Like, I'm not gonna, like, I don't want to. I know there's gonna be a line. I know there's gonna be a wait. So I didn't do it. Yeah. Legends ended up doing, I think, like the $600 one.
Oh,
and if he had not done that, he would have been standing in line from the moment the doors open till about 2 p.m. Because if you didn't have that top tier signature package, you were waiting like for fucking hours until all the top tier packages got their shit signed. And there was like 200 people like that, I think.
Wow.
So about 200 people, and they all had to get like 5 or 6 items signed. Some of them were taking selfies. Everyone was having a conversation with Frank. So
he likes talking too. So it's
yeah. So it was like a blessing that I didn't do that. Like if I had gone the $100 or $300 route, I wouldn't have been able to stay because I had to leave. Like I had to leave at like 1 or 2 anyway because I had to come home to record us interviewing Joshua Williamson for the new Batman issue. So I would have paid $100 to $300 to fucking leave early, you know,
to spend your whole day in line.
Yeah. So
Jeez.
I'm glad I didn't. I showed up. I actually took a couple of books for Jock to sign, but again, like he didn't even start signing to like 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
So I left my books in the car, and then I just went Christmas shopping, man. Like I have 3 nephews. I got all my Christmas shopping done. I got figures that are not on sale anymore. That's the best thing about cons is like, if there's like figures that you missed out on, there's shit that you missed out on. They're not making it anymore. Someone's gonna have it there.
Yeah.
And luckily, everything I was looking for, somebody had it, and at a decent price. So my expectations were, I got to get some fucking Christmas shopping done, and I luckily got everything on my list, man. Like I got a Predator they don't make anymore. I got another NECA. What did I get? I got something for myself. Got a.
I hope you did.
I got a Battle of the Bands Marty McFly NECA.
Nice.
Yeah, I had seen this at Target. I just didn't grab it, and then I hadn't seen him since. But then a bunch of people had them there. So, yeah, man, that's what I do it for now. Like, if you ever miss out on a book, you ever miss out on anything, someone at a con's gonna have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was surprised though. Speaking of like toys and collectibles, there, when I went to Emerald City, you know, you'd see some Star Wars Hot Toys, some Marvel ones here and there, but there was like no DC presence for cool toys. Like occasionally you'd see some McFarlane's from like, you know, somebody just copped from Target or something, but like that was it. I saw one Keaton Hot Toys from '89 and nothing else that was like cool high-end figures.
Yeah, it's been a Marvel Legends couple of years, I think. So like anyone who's into figures, because you know the Marvel Legends is like the standard 6-inch scale. It goes with everything. So I think people have been really heavy on that. And DC, they've just been all over the place with their scales. The past 5 or 6 years, they were never consistent. I mean, Grumps knows. He has a whole fucking podcast where all they do is complain about it.
I mean, to jump in on that, I think like Tom, and maybe you can agree or like you can back it up or not. But like with the sideshow booth, there was the sideshow booth at LA Comic Con, and you would see all the cool stuff. But then right behind it, it was a vendor who had all the hot toys. It was all the things, and they had the Tumbler, the '89 Batmobile. Like they had all of those on display to buy. And they were marked up, but they weren't available. So like you could get it. Like if you wanted the '89 Keaton Batmobile hot toy car with the shell and the box and the shipper, I mean it was
for the price of a real car.
Yeah,
it was $1,200.
couple of payments.
Yeah, you know,
it's not gonna take you anywhere, but you know you can have it.
Oh hey, you put that on a shelf in your house, you're gonna bring some people over. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you're bringing people over on purpose.
So
but
charge them.
There was a lot of the bigger stuff at LA. Like there was a lot of the hot toys, Prime 1 statues. There was a lot of that you would see, but like, you know, you were talking about seeing figures that are at a good price, you know, like for me, like I was trying to finish up a couple of my Funko Pops from the animated series collection. I was trying to complete it, and I got a good majority of them, and I was surprised on the price points on a lot of what I got, because in my head I was like, all right, these are going to be this expensive. I'm like, all right, am I going to do it? And then all of a sudden I get it, I'm like, oh, you want $20 for this? Sweet. Yeah. Yes, I'll take it. So there was a lot of that.
Yeah, I think we're really spoiled living where we are, like in LA. There's so many shops, there's so many buyers, there's so many people that have access to that stuff. That cons, when they roll around, like it's kind of like Candyland for us, you know. Like, there's never. Oh, that's right, in Ontario, Legends is actually there right now. And he bought. That's kind of funny how like he bought the storyboards, the what do you call it? The storyboard art, the not the actual like storyboards, but the conceptual art or whatever the fuck they call it. The first runs of them, you know, off the storyboard artist from Mask of the Phantasm. So he has a binder that he just bought today off the artist who did the storyboards of all the preliminary. That's what it's called.
It's legit.
All the preliminary art for every scene of the movie he got from the guy, and the guy had never put it on for sale up until today, until Legends got it. So he was.
You got mute.
You muted yourself, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was.
That's because you can't be talking about this shit, bro.
Yeah, like so we're really. I think New York,
spoilers.
Yeah, New York is similar. I think like a lot of creators live in New York, a lot of creators live in LA. So Sometimes you get spoiled with where you live. And
I'm the odd one out, man. Out here in the fucking Northwest where nobody's at.
You know, was Kelly Jones at Emerald City or no?
No.
He lives up in like the like I don't know if it's like Central California or he lives northern someplace.
Well, and Tim Sale was booked there last year. I guess that's like his hometown con, but I think because of COVID, he's not doing cons this year.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah, Tim Sale was over at Terrific Con, and when I went over to talk to him about it, I talked about New York City Comic Con. He was just like, "Nah, I'm not going over there." And I was like, "All right."
Where is Terrific Con?
Terrific Con's in Connecticut.
Oh wow, okay.
I've been all over the place.
Yeah.
But Sammy, what was your expectation for Emerald City?
Well, it's interesting. Like, I mean, first of all, I had tickets for Emerald City Comic Con, and I don't know if it's just called Washington Summer Con or something like that. I had tickets for both of those last year because Jim Lee was the headliner at Emerald City, and then Snyder and Capullo were going to be at the other one.
Nice.
And so, you know, I was buying issues that I wanted to have signed. I was getting all prepped, and then obviously COVID happened; those got canceled. With this one, like Rose City, I mentioned in Portland, they announced, and tickets were on sale, and I was like, "Well, who's coming?" You know, they weren't dropping any names, and I was like, "Okay, I'm not going to go to that." And when this one dropped, it was the same thing. I don't know if it's Reed Pop who, you know, produces these cons, or if it was just them scrambling to get guests or what, but like they didn't announce anyone, and so I didn't buy tickets. And it wasn't until like right before New York Comic Con, Sean Murphy posted on Instagram,
The Murph Dog.
"Hey guys, gonna be at New York City Comic Con. This is gonna be your last chance to see me outside of Seattle for the rest of the year, right? Just those two events." And I was like, whoa, you're not on the list. You haven't been announced. And I DM'd him like, "Are you appearing in Emerald City? I'll buy my tickets right now." And he said yes. All 4 days. That's what he told me. So I bought tickets just based on a social media post, and like weeks and weeks and weeks went by. Still no mention on the official page.
What if he was like trolling you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
I'll be
like,
there.
"Well, I got my Airbnb, you know."
Hey babe, this guy totally bought it.
He
Yeah,
at Terrific
so
Con, he was like, I asked him like, "Hey, I asked him, is Katana doing any signings for Harley?" And he was like, "Yeah, her debut's gonna be Emerald City." And I was like, "Fuck, I gotta go to Emerald City." And they messaged. Well, Katana told me 3 weeks before New York Comic Con, she was like, "Oh, we'll go to New York City Comic Con." I was like, "Oh, thank God, I don't have to go to Seattle. I mean, I can just drive down and save mad money." But yeah, continue. Sorry.
That's awesome. Yeah, and so basically they announced him super late, or them rather, both of them. They announced finally, and then, you know, still not a lot of names that they were dropping, and so it wasn't really until the last, like, I want to say 3 weeks leading up to it, that they really started posting their schedule, at least the significant ones that you'd, you know, travel 300 miles to see. And after I bought my tickets and all that shit, super last minute, they announced Jim Lee is coming, and you got to get your special passes for that, you know. And of course, he's only appearing on Saturday. My plan was, all right, well, if it's just the Artist Alley that I want to go to, and everyone that I want to see, from what I can tell, is going to be there all 4 days, I'm going to go on Thursday and Friday when there's less people, get as much time with these folks as I can, maybe get some commissions, right? And then bail on the weekend. Of course, they add Jim for Saturday only, or no, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. So I've got to buy another ticket to the con, which was sold out. Luckily, they had some like way you could buy them if someone couldn't go, you know, through their app. But so I had to buy another ticket for the show, you know, bought the Jim Lee VIP package, and then had to buy a different hotel room because I could only stay in the place I booked for that amount of time. And it's just the whole fucking thing. But yeah, I mean, long story short, it was a lot of unknown of like, I don't know who the fuck is coming. Even when I was there on Thursday, a lot of the not a lot, but some of the all 4 days guests, right? They weren't there.
Change their mind, yeah.
They didn't show, and so, yeah, it was just weird. I think just the nature of the time in which this is being produced.
Yeah, it's tough. Nando, how about you, man? What was like your expectations like going into LA Con?
Well, doing Kamikaze Con before LA Con, it was, the expectation was it was like a giant party, but it was a lot of just everything all over the place. But doing Torpedo Con this summer and having it be very artist driven, book driven, signature driven, my expectation was very similar to that. Like I wanted to see what we were going to do because I felt like Torpedo Con was very concentrated and very, boom, you're coming for these people, these signatures, and this opportunity with CJC in the house. With LA Con on a grander scale, like you had a deeper artist alley, you had more vendors, you had shows, you had more going on. I was still expecting it to be more book and artist driven, which it was. I mean, you didn't have any big studio representation. And and it was like that. So
Spoilers.
Walking in, like the first thing that everybody was doing was everybody rushed to the center to get up the main staircase at the convention center. And by the way, the whole protocol of checking in, getting everything done was really easy. So it was really good. And everybody booked it up the stairs, but I'm all the way to the right-hand side, and I just was able to crawl up the stairs by myself, get in, and not have to deal with anybody because everybody was rushing to Hot Topic to go get in line for the exclusives. And then the Hot Topic tells you if you're not a VIP, you're not getting in right away. So everybody was like, "Whoa!" But it's like, sorry, oh well, too bad. Stand in line. So I just waited, and then I was able to go back around eventually and got right in later.
Nice.
But overall, I mean, my expectation was that this year, because it was going to be on a lower, capacity concept wise, and it was going to be, smaller, quote unquote, I did feel that my expectation was going to be, it's going to be about the art, the artists, the books, and what you can, do with the vendors there, because that was the big thing.
Nice.
So it hit my expectation. It surpassed it because I was, getting to talk to the vendors and the artists more one-on-one and building a relationship with some of them and, getting their Instagrams and now DMing some of them and talking to them and just like building that relationship. It was nice. It was a really good con for me. It made me go like, if this is what we're going to expect going forward, hopefully this is going to be really good.
Straight up.
I feel like, most cons this year are more intimate for that reason. You read out and, whatever it is, what it is. People who are not vaccinated can't go to these cons. And you don't realize how much of a chunk of people that is until you compare like New York City Comic Con 2019 to New York Comic Con 2021, where instead of my example, instead of seeing Sean Murphy 2 times a day, I probably saw him like 16. And it was just like, all right, brother, I'm tired of looking at you. I'm going to walk away. Or like having a conversation with like pulling Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo aside. Like, hey, guys, we're going to interview you. And it was like, you couldn't do that back then because there were so many people around. And, and we spoke about it when we went live with Sammy earlier this week. And like, in a selfish way, I like it this way. I like the fact that we can have these conversations and not feel rushed. I like that. Like there's less people around. At the end of the day, I'm sorry. Thanks, Thanos. Fuck. As bad as it sounds, like
maybe he was right.
In a way, it feels great that there's less people around. We can get so much more done, and it's not like, all right, cool. I went to these cons, and John Cena was there.
I think he was at mine just now.
Yeah, I don't care who else was there, but like I didn't go to these photo ops. I'm not there for that. Like I'm there for the artist, and there was a Comic-Con.
Well, hey, though.
Well, no, you have an experience. We'll get there.
They had some killer DC actors. I mean,
yeah, of course. But
come on.
At the end of the day, like oh man. Shit,
wait, not shitting on John Cena. I just realized he is a big name DC actor now.
Yeah, now he is. Now
the Suicide Squad. I forgot.
Now we see him. But like for perfect example, like I was like at C2E2. My expectation was, all right, cool. People I haven't seen their cons. Like I haven't stopped at Stephanie Phillips. I stopped with her and chit chatted with her for a bit. Thank you for coming on the podcast. It was great. She's like, oh, it was fun. Great. She signed some books. Sorry, day 2. Great time. Kimmy Garcia. She was so happy to be on the Bad Force podcast. She wants to come back on. Sweet. And like we were talking about her dad being a detective and the psychologist and all this stuff. Awesome. Like really good conversations. And then Joelle Jones. I wasn't prepared for Joelle Jones. Like I had my 2 books that I really wanted to get signed. I had a blank, and I had my Batman blank. I was hoping that I could probably get a sketch in there. And she did everything for free, and I was like, fuck. I have so much other shit I want to get signed. So then I like a regular Comic-Con, I went looking for books. Found them the following day. I was like, great, I'm gonna get these books signed. Now I got doubles, whatever. But my expectations were really low because I was just like, I didn't come fully equipped like I did for New York City Comic Con for C2E2. But then it was like, I went from Friday getting everything I needed to get done to Saturday being like, no, there's so much more I need to get done. And it was awesome. But that being said, so the next thing is, and what were your high and lows at these cons? So, like, what did you really want to get done that you couldn't, or what was your highest disappointment? But like, what was your highest high? Like, what was like the moment like, oh shit, this is so worth it? So, Tom, like, I haven't heard shit about what the hell you did at LACon. So, you haven't said
So secretive.
Like, you just dipped and like started recording.
It's almost like it's a conspiracy almost.
Yeah. What was your high and low?
So LA, I'm trying to remember what I fucking did. I think I was going to I was because Comic Sketch Art represents a lot of the DC artists right now, like all the top ones. So I know that they were gonna have like stuff. Even though the artists weren't there, they have like CGC books for sale. They got like prints for sale. Jock was gonna be there. So I think like what are we talking about? Like what was the high and the low?
Yeah.
The high was definitely feeling good about not buying the Frank Miller package and not having to wait in line for 4 fucking hours, which I wouldn't have been able to do. So that was like that felt like a relief. I'm so glad I didn't do that.
Yeah. That was a carpool lane.
Yeah, man. So that was one high. The other high was I think just going back. That was my first con that I've been back to in probably like 2.5 years. So just walking through the con, honestly, like walking around, going through Artist Alley, just kind of soaking it up and remembering like what it feels like to go to a convention. And the highs were the other high was just like grabbing the figures that I wanted to. Like my one of my nephew's birthday's coming up, and he asked his mom for his birthday. He wants a Spider-Man toy. Nice. And so I knew that there wasn't going to be like, you can't just roll into a Target right now and grab like, a Tom Holland Spider-Man. So I'm like, I'm going to fucking hook this kid up. So I found a Tom Holland. I think it's not Homecoming. What was the second one?
No Way Home.
No Way Home. It's Far From Home.
Yeah, Far From Home.
Yeah, so they had a Far From Home, Home Alone, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Home Alone, Unmasked. So they had like the swapped head. So Marvel, it was a Marvel Legends. So he's got the Spider-Man mask, and then he's got the who did we lose?
Sammy.
You lost Sammy. All right, he'll hop back on. But yeah, so I snagged that, and I also snagged. He wanted a Mysterio, and his mom was like, "I can't. Who the fuck is Mysterio?" I was like, "Listen, you fucking casual.
Sounds I know like most moms."
I'm gonna use that casual.
Yeah. So I was like, "Here's Sammy."
There we go. And he's back.
So I told his mom, I was like, I'll get this Mysterio, don't worry. So I'm like, I gotta find this fucking Mysterio figure. So I luckily found a Mysterio figure. So I got him the Mysterio figure, got him the Spider-Man figure. That's it, man. That's what it's all about. Like feeling like a fucking king, rolling in there, getting exactly what you want, knowing it's gonna be there. And then I was just flipping through some comics. They had some guys with like back issues, and I got to fill in the Bermejo detective covers because there was like 2 months where I didn't go to my shop, so I got like 2 to 3 months worth of detective covers variants for Bermejo that I got to fill in the holes. So I was able to find a couple of them, but they didn't have them all.
If you're missing any, just
Oh my God, you guys have that whole run?
let me
Oh
know.
Yeah. I think I'm missing like 6.
Let me know which ones, because these are doubles.
Next con, you're just gonna walk up with a fucking
You don't need
stack.
a con. You just need Dunk.
Dunk's gonna be at the next con, going like he's gonna be the sweaty guy in front of everybody that's going like I have a box for you to sign.
Dude, yeah.
He's gonna be that guy.
It's a whole short box.
Leave fucking hate me.
Yeah, Lee's gonna look at you like the fuck. No.
Look, can you sketch this one? Hold on, over here. Can you put a cow over here too?
Yeah.
You can draw the dick on this one.
Can I get the shadow, please? No.
Have you guys noticed like
Put some
some
veins
of these
over here.
creators charging for signatures and
Dude, I got
charges for things?
like Dunk said, he got all this great free stuff and was treated so well. I had that experience for 3 days, right? And on the third day,
he rose again.
When I meet Scott Williams, I was actually kind of mad. Dude was charged for signatures. It's like, not that he doesn't deserve it, not that they all don't deserve it, right? But like because everyone else had done it for free, like motherfucking DMC gave me a bunch of free autographs and a picture and shit. Like just the best. I don't know. By the time I got there, I was like, man, he wants $10. Like it's $10, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, come on.
Like,
Fuck these fucking inkers. Who do they think they are? The fucking pencilers? Fucking assholes.
I think
yo, you got nothing to fucking ink if no one was penciling, bro. So fucking sign this shit for free, man.
Yeah,
all
respect
respects to Scott Williams, though.
Yeah,
I think Tony Fleets was the only one that actually like had a charge, but it was like if you bought something, then he signed it, and I think that was the only one that actually did that. Like Nakayama, he was like free signatures all day, and like everybody that I went to that day, he was the only one. Like he was the only one that actually, if you had to buy something to get a free signature.
Do these guys get paid by the organization to come and appear? Is that why they don't charge for that shit?
If they're a guest, if they're an invited guest, they're paid to be there.
It's all different contracts. There's different contracts.
Yeah.
I think that got more popular in the last couple of years.
All thanks to Neil Adams.
Neil Adams
selling, the signatures and eBay and whatever.
It's all Neil Adams. Neil Adams started doing it. I can't remember the '90s where he's the one that came up with it.
The dishes right now.
Oh, it's probably my house.
Oh, oh, there goes.
You live in a restaurant, bro? Nice, fucking with you.
Yeah, there are. I saw that
Nando's taking a shower.
Liefeld was at LA Comic Con, and I didn't even stop to look at his prices, but I know that he does his signature is like $40, and then his logo signature is like $60.
Yeah, he was at New York.
That.
He was at C2E2. I gave no fucks about him. Go fuck yourself,
dude. You know what though? All respect to Rob Liefeld, because he puts like $60 for a logo signature, and motherfuckers buy it. So like, if people are gonna pay you for it, then you're worth whatever they're willing to pay you for. So I kind of respect it. Like it also lets you flex. Yeah, it lets you flex on your own fans, because like if you're not willing to pay it, like you can call them poor, and I'm all about that, really.
So your high and low was
my high was like getting exactly what I wanted to get without having to rock around with bags, and also the fact that I didn't buy a Frank Miller wristband. My low. I guess like that I didn't get to stay longer because I had to come home and interview Joshua Williamson about how he's the new Batman writer. Here we go.
It's a hard life.
Yeah, I was bummed that I didn't have a chance to see Jock, because I did want to get some stuff signed by him. Yeah. I got a bunch of his Batman covers when Red Hood comes back, Jason Todd comes back. I got a bunch of those.
Man, I want his 125 Catwoman Lonely City cover that he did.
Yo,
man, I couldn't get my hands on it here.
That was fire. I think my shop still has it. I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I know. I saw that. We'll get to it. I know, because he'll talk about it I don't know if it was the recent con, but I saw Sammy got a bunch of quadruple signatures of Scott Williams, Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, and Sinclair. But so these are only triples. I don't have Jeff Loeb on these, but I got the
nice.
Yeah, I got the triple signatures.
Nice.
On this one.
Fire.
Nice.
And then I got the sketch variant.
Well,
of the same issue.
The quadruple sign that I got, because Jeff wasn't there, I had found that signed by Jeff, and it was not from Hush. It was a Superman Batman that, Lee and Sinclair and Williams did a variant cover on. And so that's what I wound up getting him to do. But it was super cool. Yeah. Nice. I kind of brought stuff from everything. Like I brought that, and I brought Hush, and I brought All-Star, and kind of, just all my favorite things that these guys do.
What was your high and low, Sammy?
Well, I can't really say there's a low to speak of other than just like
leaving,
having to, like I said about the scheduling shit and having to buy, extra days and things like that. Really my low, I guess, was putting in the miles, literally, walking in the pouring down rain in downtown Seattle, steep hills, like at fucking 8 o'clock in the morning or something. That is, that's a combination. That's a list of things that I never do, is go outside for a walk, go, be out there in the elements and waking up before noon for sure. So, I mean, but so worth it. So that's just me nitpicking to find an answer. But highs, like I told you the other day, like every single day in and of itself had a legendary moment for 3 days. It was like the first day kicked off, Shauna Katana, ton of awesome signatures, fucking hooking me up with remarks, on the house, and super, super nice, and that just blew me away. And I got to meet Alex Sinclair. It was his birthday. He just showed up in the afternoon. That was super cool. Second day, I got to meet DMC, as I mentioned, from Run DMC. That was
awesome.
I mean, somebody I've listened to for 25 years. I mean, it's just that really, really meant the world to me as an MC and, just a music lover. Like, wow. And then on the third day, I got so on day 2, I picked up and I think we'll get to the pictures of it, but I picked up my commission from Mirka and Dolfo, which is a beautiful punchline bust. And then I picked up on day 3 that same sketch, which I had given to Alex Sinclair to color. And so my day started on Saturday picking that up and, getting my Scott Williams signatures at the same time, then going and picking up my Jim Lee sketch that was waiting for me, and then going to the Jim Lee VIP and meeting him. And so it was like one after another, kind of like Tom said, like, there was a year that like I could never top that again. For me, that's like right now. Like right now, I'm
sounds like it
as hard as I can, as hard as I wanted to last year, and I literally maxed out my fucking credit, and I'm working 6 days a week right now to catch up. But man, I'll never forget it.
And you got that fucking jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the popular consensus. Everyone was like, "So did you get it? Did you get it?" And the hilarious argument with my wife in my my Instagram stories. Yeah, that was classic. But yeah, Fanzilla made these awesome '89 Bob the Goon jackets. Couldn't resist. And I'll tell you, since I was talking about getting soaked on the long walk, leaving on that last day, I was warm and dry. It was great.
So you had an awesome high, barely any lows.
Yeah. Though I mean, there were no lows. It's like, yeah, my feet hurt, and
fuck
my
your
clothes
feet.
are wet. So fucking what, right? Like, small price to pay for all these amazing things.
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Every single day, I'd get home and sit there in the hotel room and just be like, wow, and kind of lay out all the stuff you got. And it's not just like buying cool stuff, but like each one of those is like some kind of personalized thing. It's a sketch, it's a signature, it's a whatever. And just looking at this and digesting, like, wow, all the things that happened today, like, again, I'll never forget it.
That's the best feeling. Nando, so you went to LA as well. What was your low and highs?
This is gonna be sad. The low was not getting to get my signature from Keith David. That was the low. Like, I wanted to get my NECA Goliath box signed by Keith David, and it didn't happen. And that was like the miss. That was the only miss today. Because like Tom, I only went one day. I went on Sunday, and so I was able to try to knock out everything I could in one day. But the high of all highs, like, I mean, you could have like taken me out of for the rest of the day afterwards, was Kevin Conroy. Like, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Perfect timing. That was it. Like, it was, I bought the ticket thing for Kevin Conroy, and I jumped in line an hour and a half early because I was like, I'm not missing this. It was like Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm getting in line. I'm gonna get this done. Like, it's happening. Like, when I got there, I was number 4 in line. I got my print out of the little hard roll thing that I brought. I got it set up, got it done. And I was like, cool. Got my headphones in. I was listening to like my music. I got all my bag reorganized with the books that I was getting signed and everything like that, and set it up. And I got in line, and it was like, cool. 10 minutes later, they were like, okay, come on in. We're going in. And I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? We're going in now. I was like, we're not due for another hour and 10 minutes. And as soon as you get inside where all the artists and all the celebrities were, you just see Kevin. They're like, no, Mr. Conroy is signing through his time. Like, he's signing all day long to make sure everybody gets his signature. And I was like, oh my God. So everybody they have their Pop Funkos. They have like Arkham City, Arkham Asylum stuff. They have, Batman the Animated Series stuff in line. And I'm sitting here with my poster print in my hand going like, okay, like this is what I brought. And it's like, and I should have thought about it, but it's like, I didn't realize, because I was so one-sided about seeing him, that right next to him was John Glover. So it was like, I should have brought something with Riddler so I could have gotten him to sign it. And then the voice of Terry McGinnis, because they had all of Boy Meets World on the other side. With was it Will Friedle or something like that? Like,
Friedle, I think.
He was on the other side. And I'm like, why didn't I bring something Batman Beyond? I could have had Conroy and him sign it. And I'm like, I was like, God dang it. But just the interaction I had with Kevin Conroy, and I'll say Mr. Conroy, because I walked up to the handler and I was like, is it okay if I ask him to sign something specific? And he was like, oh no, absolutely. He's like, you're not. I was like, am I being a dick by asking, like, hey, I want you to sign this? And he was like, no, absolutely not, but thank you for asking in advance. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's awesome.
So
I've had the opposite experience too, the opposite answer to that question from a different person. So I love that was his response.
Yeah, Mr. Conroy, if you could just put to eBay buyer.
Would you like that with a capital E and B, or no? But he goes, well, what do you want me? And then when my turn was up, he was like, hello, how are you? And that baritone voice. And he goes, what would you like me to sign? And I was like, I am vengeance. And he goes, say no more. And he was like, wrote it out. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a little 6-year-old kid watching TV right now. Like, and he signs the whole thing. By the way, his penmanship's beautiful. And, I just told him, I said, I just wanted to say thank you for portraying Bruce Wayne in the light that made everybody believe that this version of Bruce Wayne was trying to be the best human being possible by always doing what was right and always trying to do that. And he was like, well, thank you for that. And he was like, okay, well, here you go. And I was just like, I'm glad, my kids get to watch something of you that represent Batman that way. And he was like, what's your name? And I was like, oh, crap. And he was like, Fernando. And he goes, give me that back. So he takes it back, and then he personalizes it, and then he hands it back to me. And when his handler opened up the print to give it to Kevin, he goes, I like this one. and it was the Mondo Mask of the Phantasm sample print. I got a sample print from Warner Brothers, and he signs that one. So now it's in my office, on my wall, looking at me forever.
You did his voice really well too. Just that little bit. I like this one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be like embedded in my head forever now. So it's good.
That's
so wait,
tough.
I have a question. Here. So you are standing there in the line, and what is your pre-game Eye of the Tiger music to meet Kevin Conroy?
Do you really want to know? Like, I'll tell you.
I do.
Well, yeah, we're here now.
It's literally the Mask of the Phantasm entrance theme from the film.
Boom.
Like the vocal chorus, like in my head, the whole thing. It's in my head the whole time. I'm just standing there going like, because I was getting goosebumps because it's like, this is like really my first year of doing cons where I got to do what I wanted. Like, like when I would go for work at convention, it was like, okay, we need you to do this. We want you to go here. You have a limited time to run the floor. Like you have this opportunities, but we need you back here to do this. And I was like, cool, great. But this was like, Kevin Conroy was there. This was the whole reason why I went, and I got to enjoy it and do it for me. And it was, if I don't ever get to go to another con for the rest of my life, like getting that interaction with Kevin Conroy, like will be good. Like I'm good.
So, all that being said, having our high and lows and listening to you guys' story, I wanted to go through memorable moments and all this other stuff. Compared to other cons, right? I'm switching it up here. Is it easier to con with other people or on your own? Tom,
I vote.
Ooh.
I've been to cons probably the most with Legends, our boy Kev Dog.
Kev Dog, what up?
Shout out to Kev Dog, who does, he's he probably doesn't have access to the internet because he spends so much goddamn money going to conventions. So no point in shouting him out. But yeah, so we've and our buddy Stillings too, who's actually the administrative IT for SpaceX. So he's this is not a joke. He's literally Elon Musk's bitch. So like we've gone to so many cons together that we see each other maybe like if we're there for like 5 hours, cumulative maybe like an hour and a half of the time is spent all together. Like like we're just constantly rotating around the con, in different worlds, and then we all come together at meals or something.
Yeah.
Because there's so much shit to do and get into that everyone's got their thing and everyone's got what they want to do. And yeah, there's going to be an occasional signature or something that you're after, but everyone's got their thing. So I think like what we do is like, I'm sure you guys can relate, if you've ever gone to a con with a friend, you come back to the hotel room or whatever, and you fucking put all your loot out on the bed, and you're just like taking inventory after the day's end. So I think like the most fun is when you do it with friends, but then you kind of do your own thing during the day and you kind of regroup a later time.
Yeah,
that's cool.
How about you, Grumps?
I'm a solo mission guy. It's tough to go with friends for me anyway. Like especially like noobs, like you go to people that like it's their first con or whatever, and it's
fucking
like,
casuals
and they're just like, oh, we'll just follow you, and it's like, fuck, like,
no,
don't fucking follow me. And then guys like you, I'm not a signature chaser like you guys. Like if I could with minimal effort, I'll do it, but it's not of any great big interest to me.
Fuck
so
standing on that line.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're going here, we're going there. I'm like, oh man, I kind of just want to wander around. And there's I find a lot of wasted time. Like that's what I don't like about the modern con experience. It's a lot of wasted time celebrity chasing, and I don't know. It's just tough for me, That's
makes sense.
Yeah.
How about you, Sam?
My first 3 years, all here in Eugene, I went with my wife every year, and there was another year where, I think like my brother would come through, and like I had another friend, they kind of meet up with us down there. And it was always like, even again, that's a small con, right? And I'm eyeing everything. Like my rule, because I learned the first year, right? I bought some stuff first pass through. And then you see cooler shit and you're out of money, right? And so my rule was after that, like, all right, so I walk through everything and spend zero money. And then I go back and pick the things that I want, like the really cool prints or whatever it was, And so I'm eyeing shit, got my Terminator vision on. And it's like people then you just notice are stopped, like I'm here for all the DC shit. Oh, well, now you're looking at this anime booth for a while. And it's like, okay, I'm going to leave. I'll be on the other side, and then it's like we're kind of like holding each other up from the shit that we want to see, because we both like stuff there. So cool, let's go together. But then you do have enough divergence of interests, and all of the out of town cons that I've been to, so Portland, Seattle, and San Antonio, I went alone. And those were things where it's like, okay, who's on the guest list? Who's appearing at what times? I was definitely there on a mission. I got a lot of stuff done, met a lot of great people. And that is the way for me, because I just felt like, and as much as I do want to go, like I said to you recently, I'd like to go to New York Comic Con. I'd like to go to San Diego or LA next year, and I think the wife would too. But, that's going to be a different thing if I'm not alone,
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I think like I've been wanting to do Emerald City for a long time because every story that I hear coming out of it is the exact same, which
That's
is
great.
this was the perfect size, massive fucking creators, like it's easy access to massive creators and like just minimal effort. Like they're just there.
Yeah.
And I've always heard that about Emerald City. And what's great is like I have a buddy that lives in Seattle, so like there was Mondo sold out of, I can't remember what print it was. I'm pretty sure it was like an 89. Whatever print that they were out of, like at every fucking con, the first like couple of hours. He said he just walked up to the Mondo booth. There was like nobody there, and he got one for himself. He got one for me, and then he's like, "Yeah, dude, there's like no hassle at all." I'm like, "Fuck,
dude!" I couldn't believe the lines that you guys were talking about out there in LA or in Chicago, and it's like, oh, Doug's like, yeah, I waited 2 hours for this one, but it was worth it. I'm like, 2 hours?
Dude.
Shit, I don't think I waited more than 15 minutes for anybody, really.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess Jim Lee, I waited 30 minutes or something, and I was like the fourth person in line.
Only 30 minutes for Jim Lee?
For my VIP.
Yeah, because you got the VIP.
Yeah, but still, 30 minutes? Like, yo.
I mean, yeah. And like I was near the front of that line too.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, I'll go. Maybe it was 45. I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'll go down there a little bit early, just to make sure I got good placement, But yeah, dude, there was almost nobody in front of me. It was like two couples and another dude, But like Tom was saying, it's just access. It was great.
Yeah.
The guest list ended up being really good. It didn't look like it was going to be, so I don't blame anyone who didn't come. But wow, yeah, it was so easy.
I think creators like cons like that too, because they know that it's going to be way more chill, but there's still a fan base where they can, they can pay their bills for the month by showing up, and they don't, it's like, okay, I could do New York and I could fucking sit on my ass and sign from start to finish, load up my schedule, be tired as fuck, and I'll make a little bit more money. Or let me go to a chill ass con where I could do fine for myself, and it'll be a good experience, and
talk to people too, and not like rush through it. Like that was the cool thing, I think Jim Lee was really the only exception, and I did get to talk to him because it was like a, sign 3 items and get a picture for the VIP. So I mean, it's a couple minutes that you're there, but
yeah, even that looked better because it looked like you guys were taken to a separate room or something, right?
Yeah, we were in our own area, which is cool, but like it
away from the pores.
It still feels a little bit rushed, and you don't get to say all the things you want to say. But like pretty much every other creator that I met, they're just hanging out. There might be a couple
Yeah.
people in line, but that's it. And so you really do get to kind of bullshit with them and talk to them. And that was the coolest thing. You know, it's not just like, here's this autograph, bye, you know.
Yeah, there's always that, regardless where you are with some people. I experienced that at C2E2. Not going to say any names because if we get them on the podcast, I don't want to shit on them.
You didn't have a line at all.
Yeah, C2E2, I didn't have much of a line. What was my low? My low was coming in on Sunday. I was like, I didn't buy a ticket for Sunday, and I was just like, fuck, I got mad shit to do. Like I had to like close up some accounts on CGC. I'm like, fuck, I'm paying $55 just to do this shit. This sucks.
What about that second deep dish that you had?
My breakfast?
Oh, I thought you said that the second one was not nearly as good as the first one.
No, my second one was breakfast.
Oh,
yeah, that was gross.
God.
All right,
Didn't you get a free one though?
No,
Yeah,
wait.
that was the
Did I send you the video for that?
You sent the video from the first one.
Do you have a time lapse video
we'll
of
talk
eating?
about the video of the first one,
Man,
and we'll discuss
dunk
that.
versus food.
Oh, I don't know if I was.
You didn't get the famous one, did you?
What's it? What, Geo's?
No, Illuminati or whatever.
No, that's the video I sent was Illuminati's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Geo's is the famous one that everyone's like, you gotta go to Geo's, you gotta go to Geo's, and like locals were like, no, fuck Geo's. Ever since COVID, Geo's sucks, and I was like, all right, cool, not going to Geo's.
The mozzarella ain't as good.
Listen, I just remember Gino's from our trips when we would go to Chicago in college. We would go there, and it's like you'd walk in, the deep dish pizza was really good, but it was about the whole atmosphere in the building. You get to like write your name on the wall and stuff like that, but like not in the
Tagging
stall kind of way. It was more like on the actual restaurant. So it was cool. It was good food.
Going down the drain.
Yeah,
Now you're trying to just condescend to me because I didn't go to college, you know.
I'm over here like, yo, you get to tag up on walls. I'm probably
I'm a band geek. Don't worry, Sammy. I'm a band geek. That's why.
Me too. Okay.
But yeah. So we'll get into the deep dish once you show that video later. My low was just going back on Sunday. It was like my goodbye tour.
Yeah.
I went over to Stephanie Phillips. Said see ya. Kimmy Garcia. Said see ya. Rose Beth. Said
Dave
see
was
ya.
like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
I said bye to everyone. Closed out some single series shit and then called it a day. Went to the guys over at Short Box. Like, yo, guys, see you soon. Then I had to rush to the airport because the airport was fucking an hour away. And so I didn't know how big Chicago was. So it took me 45 minutes to get to my fucking hotel. And I was like, shit, that took mad long. And then to get out of the convention back to the airport, it was a 55-minute Uber ride. But my Uber driver, this is a low. This is a low, guys. He had like the alerts on like what's going on in Chicago. And it was like, there's a shooting on MLK Avenue at 3 suspects down. And that's like 15 minutes later, there's another shooting at I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, man, I gotta keep this on just in case, you never know. And I'm like, damn.
Chirac, baby.
Do I really want to go back to Chicago? There's
like,
3 shootings on my way to the fucking
fun.
airport.
Man, bring you down to reality.
So let's go to my highs. My high was simply this. Joelle Jones did an amazing sketch of Selena Kyle on a blank. And I was chatting with her for a bit, and she wants to come on the podcast. And that was dope. I was like, all right, that's it. That's my highest high. I'm just chatting with her. We were talking about Oregon. She was talking about Idaho and potatoes. And I was like, yeah, there's a potato pizza in Albany. She's like, oh my God, that sounds gross. I'm like, it is. Doesn't even fucking have. I'm like, doesn't even have bacon. Like, why don't you throw bacon on a fucking potato pizza?
Nando's upset.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I have to do this because I lived in Palm Desert for a few years,
and
there was a place called The Hood. It was a really good bar. It was Rolling Rock Dollar Beer on Wednesdays. It was one of those kind of places. They did something called Spud Pie. and it was a New York style. It was a guy from Brooklyn in the back doing pizza. And what he would do is he would bake a potato and he would literally crumble it onto the pizza and throw bacon on top, and he'd serve you with a side of like sour cream. So it was like basically like a baked potato with it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it was one of the best things in the world.
Now that you mention it, there's a place. There's a place here.
It was good.
We're going to have this conversation
Especially
right
after
now.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
done. You brought it
We're
up.
gonna get
I'm
shot
sorry.
in New York saying this stuff.
Now, listen. I'm in
Bing
Albany.
bong.
I'm in Albany. It's a fucking mashed potato pizza. It fucking sucks.
Mashed potato pizza. That sounds
Yeah,
worse.
If it
sounds
was
horrible.
if it was
Thanksgiving
dollar
pizza.
slices from fucking Bros Pizza somewhere in Manhattan that had mashed potatoes, but a different story. Mashed potato with fucking cheese, little crumbled bacon. Awesome. Those dollar slices in New York are way better than the fucking mashed potato pizza that I had here. So Joelle Jones was like, "Oh my god, that sounds gross," and I was like, "Yeah, it was." Because it didn't even have bacon on it. Throw bacon on that bitch to make it sound better, but it didn't. So whatever. Her and I had a great conversation talking about potatoes, and then she drew this beautiful Selena Kyle.
She carved out of a potato a Selena Kyle.
If she would carve a fucking Selena Kyle from a potato, and all people, that'll be her. No, and she did that, and that was like a Saturday morning, and I was at all, and I was like, "Holy shit, man!" Like that was amazing, and that's it. That was like my high.
Nice.
Joelle
Besides eating a
Jones
fucking
though, sketch though, or the remark you got was amazing.
Besides eating a medium deep dish, that was actually decent. But besides that, that was my. But Nando, we didn't get to you yet. What was your high and low?
I mean, we did. My low was the Keith David thing, and then the high was the Kevin Conroy.
Conroy.
We were good.
Thanks for paying attention, Dunk.
No, it
We
wasn't.
just went on for food for a while, and he lost his way.
That's what it was.
I was
Maybe
thinking about
he's hungry.
potatoes. I was thinking
Maybe
about
he's
bacon
hungry.
and potatoes. I was done.
There's actually a family out here that moved. I think they're from Rome, and not obviously it's California. Not very people don't know California for pizza, but there's this family-owned place. It's been around for a long time. I think they're based out of Rome, or they were, and they came over here. Fantastic. I think it's called Little Caesars. And what's nice about it is that
they're really affordable.
you.
They're really affordable.
And they're fast. That's
They're
the
made
best
for
part.
the people. They're made for the people.
You can
I
get
like
a
the
thin
crazy
crust.
bread bag that's just transparent from all the
Yes.
grease. You can
Yeah.
see right through it.
They just got a fat guy sitting on those in the back to keep him warm. And that's not actually Parmesan cheese on top. That's his Famunda cheese. And
That's his dandruff.
Oh man.
Anyways,
let's get into photos, man. Let's talk about these memorable moments. Let's get to
Yeah,
these
change the
quick
topic.
Jesus
guys,
Christ.
we're talking about Joelle Jones.
Yeah.
Oh,
she did
so
that.
good.
I was
So good.
So what happened with this whole story with Joelle was Friday. I was there Friday, and Friday evening she was supposed to be there at 5:30, and something happened. No bullshit. She was tired. She didn't show up. They're people. They're fucking tired. From fucking 10 a.m. to like 7. Like that's mad long. Just sitting there sketching, signing autographs. It's pretty exhausting. She didn't come back, and the handler was like, "Yeah, she's not coming back." It's cool. I was the first in line, and I had this blank in front of me because I wanted this sketch. And when they mentioned to the whole line what happened, someone came over and was like, "Oh my god, this is what we came here for. This is the only day we're here." And it was this whole sob story, and I was like, "Hey, what are you trying to get signed?" And they were like, "Oh, we're trying to get this base of this statue." I didn't hear anything else. I'm like, "Oh, really? Does the base come off?" And they were like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Cool. You know what?" And when I said, the handler came over and he was like, "Yeah, you could just give us a base and, we'll get a sign for you and send it over, give us our information, all this stuff." And like, "Yeah, we'll definitely take care of it." And like, now I'm we, right? Like I'm part of this conversation. And, they took the base, and then the family's talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, like, "Oh, that's a great idea." And the woman's like, "I can't believe I carried the statue the entire day." I was just like, yo.
What a fucking casual.
And I was like, "You're new to this shit." And I'm like, I've been around the block a couple of times. You don't carry the statue, but the one thing you want signed is the bottom. And
man.
That's how I know you're different than me, Dunk, because I would have just fucking laughed at them. Like, you came all the way over here dressed for this, and she's not here. You sucks to be you, bro. I'm here tomorrow.
Nah, then
Tom's a sweetheart. We all know.
That's when the handler came. You love the people. The handler came over and it was like, oh yeah, we'll definitely take care of it and whatever. And when they left, he was like, dude, great idea, man, great save. He's like, yo, what do you need anything? I was like, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. And I wanted to sketch. And I came back. I was the first in line. No one was there. And I was like, all right, cool. Let me see what other lines are. I'm like, let me see what Kimmy Garcia looks like. Let me see what Amanda Con looks like. I was like, all right, cool. No one's showing up till later. And I went over to the Capture Collectibles line because that's where I was getting all my shit CGC'd and bullshit there for a bit. I was like, let me go back to Joelle Jones. Like, fuck, I'm on third in the line. I'm like, damn it. Not first. Ricky Bobby. And when I went up to the line, Joelle Jones was like, oh, you again. And I was like, there we go. Last time I heard that shit was Sean Murphy, fucking 2018, New York City Comic Con. And she was just like, I had 2 books in front of that. I was like, hey, can you please sign these? I'm sorry. I had all these books at home, couldn't find them. So I went over and bin dive. But I'm like, how much should I pay you to do the sketch? And she was like, I heard what you did yesterday. Thank you for that. And she's like, don't even worry about it. Take care of it. And she's like, what Catwoman do you want? And I was like, I just want Selena Kyle. Like, I don't want a mask. And she was like, oh, I love drawing Selena Kyle. And she did that. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, thank you. Like, I was, can't top that. So that's my biggest moment from C2E2. And she posed it. Look at it. Fucking nice. It's amazing.
I think these are all yours too, right, Dunk?
Yeah. So this is
that's nice.
This is not mine. I actually got this for someone else. This was Friday evening. Someone messaged me that they wanted something from Amanda Con. I was like, I'm going to go over. I have some books that I didn't get signed, and they wanted a sketch. Amanda Connor actually, she was asking $200 for like a blank.
That's not bad for her.
No, it's phenomenal. But the person that messaged me couldn't afford that, and I was like, hey, listen, I could get a print for you.
Oh, I would not. I would no longer be their friend.
I'm not you.
I don't.
We know you're. Look, you're a friend of Elon Musk. We get it.
Yeah, I know. I have a reputation to keep, guys. I'm sorry.
So she was like, she could do a remark and a print. That'd be great. And I got that done. The guy behind her is Patrick. I was standing in line for 2 hours for this because I had comic books that I want to get assigned. I was, 2 birds with one stone. Patrick, I was the first one in line. He brought over a chair for me, and I sat in front of the line with a chair. He was like, hey, you want some cookies or something? You want something to eat? And I was like, yo,
everyone behind you is like, fuck this guy.
I was like, no, there was no one there. It was
you guys
for like
want
45 minutes.
And I bet you in a chair is not even shorter than everyone else in line.
Yeah, he was still looking down to the guy behind him.
Listen, when you're the tallest person in the con, and people walk to that fucking table, they're going to ask you questions. They don't even look at
remember
Patrick. And Patrick was like, hey, listen, I'm going to use the restroom real quick. Can you take care of the table? I was like, sweet. So I sat back there for a bit.
And he's on the payroll now.
These prints are $15. This is fucking $250, whatever. And Patrick took care of me, man. Patrick.
No, you mean it's $30.
And I was like, they'll be back at 3:30. And they're like, oh, great. And then they all stood in line behind my chair. Peasants. And it worked out great. I still have that sketch here. And I'm my friend that wanted it. It's over in Jersey, so I'll drop it off next weekend. So
how much was that? That piece right there?
So the print was $10, and the sketch itself was $60.
Which part's the sketch?
Color.
You see the horns?
Oh, that Harley.
The Harley
with
the horns, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like I asked for a Harley with horns, and she did the fucking hair horns. And I was like, shit,
Great.
you're
That's
an artist.
cool.
I didn't even think about that shit.
That's why they're paying the big bucks.
It's right here. Hold on. Ready?
Oh, Inception. Hang on.
Inception.
Hold on.
Printception.
Printception.
Nice.
Nice.
Such a good one too.
Yeah, so she like colored all this shit in white and then drew this on top of the
Oh,
white.
wow.
Cool.
Like a reverse print.
Yeah. It's fucking
That's
nuts,
dope.
man. She killed it. No, Amanda kind of knows what the fuck she's doing.
All right.
Oh, that's such a good cover.
All right, so we're in the shy, bro. And the Comic Mint had all these exclusive covers. This cover, I made friends with one of the guys who was working on the Comic Mint. This guy Jason. He's also the CEO of Capture Collectibles. Great dude. If you ever need to get your stuff witnessed and CGC's not around, Capture Collectibles. I'm Friday evening. It's like fucking 6:30, right? The con closes at 7. I go over there and I'm like, I see these boxes because like Jason told me, he's like, yeah, I got these boxes coming in. I got some exclusive stuff coming over. You should come over later. I'm like, cool. He's opening these boxes and this shit pops out. It's my first time in Chicago. I'm fucking getting one of these. Yo, look in the back, bro. Look at the fucking Tigger. Like being the biggest hype man.
Like, what book is this?
No, it's called Do You Poo?
I do a lot.
It's a random series it's a random exclusive at all Comic Cons. Where like there's like a Libermejo one, Do You Poo, where it's like instead of like the wiener is like the honey thing, and it's like it's a spoof of like different comics or different events. So you see Piglet, he looks like a manager or a coach in the bottom right. So the artist, is it Magrat or whatever? He's the one most popular to make these covers, and he just makes these homage covers to anything. And I definitely picked 2 of those up. It's actually going on eBay for $200 right now. So if you guys want it, holler at me.
Now I understand.
Yeah, but I bought it because like for me, my first time in Chicago, I said, you know what, I need something that's gonna prove.
You're a huge Jordan fan, right?
Yeah, I love that. Love MJ. Grew up watching the Bulls in the '90s. So when I saw this, I was like, I need one. And the boy Jason was like, "Oh, I got you." And I was like, No. Make sure you put it in my stash. Like I need one. And like first thing Saturday morning, I walked by the booth, and I was like, "Yo, you got me?" And he was like, "Oh, I got you. The Do You Poo and hit me with the next one." There we go.
Nice.
Dr. Pooh, the Chronic. And I saw this, and I was like, "Yo, I need to get 2 exclusives, man. This is only 150 copies." So another exclusive that very rare, and yeah, those are off the CGC. Can't wait to get them back. I needed that one just because there was a New York City exclusive by Javon Jordan that it was Department of Truth. I think it was issue 11 or 13. He did this a Dr. Dre homage. And I was like, fuck, I couldn't get it. And before you know it, selling on eBay for $250. I was like, I can't afford that shit. But I beat the punch here at C2E2. So that was a win. So I got this too. This picture here, I was actually sitting on the line for Amanda Connor when I met Patrick. These guys here are actually members of the Geek Set podcast over in Milwaukee. There's actually 2 or 3 out of the 5 cool ass dudes. I didn't know when I first met them. They followed me, and I asked mad questions because when I saw Geek Set, first thought coming from the New York Northeast area, you think about Dipset. I didn't think Dipset was that big, and they clearly made a movement. Because here's these guys from Milwaukee who are big on rap, New York rap. Listen to Dipset, D Block, early 2000s hip hop, and I was like, I had no idea. So these guys and I became really good, close friends. The two guys that didn't make it, we were texting after this, and we were pretty excited. I actually met up with some of the members from the Geek Set podcast. They were, we were pretty, hence their shirts. We were pretty geeked that we finally met, and they cover a lot of things. They cover anime, modern hip hop, Batman books. The guy that's holding the Chicago Bulls hat, him and I were really Batman fans. Everyone else shits on Batman, so I'm not that close to them. But yeah, great group of guys. If you guys ever a chance to listen to the podcast, give them a shout out, give them a follow. Geek Set, great dudes, man. And in Milwaukee, they get these awards. They're like in Milwaukee, they're like the most listened to like local podcasts and stuff. So they're pretty involved in the community and things. So it's a beautiful thing, and I was really happy to finally meet them. Garcia, yeah, it was great to finally meet her in person. She was excited as shit to meet someone from the Bat Force, and we'll have her on shortly. We just chatted for a bit about Joker Harley and just overall her relationship with the criminal mindset and all that stuff. It was great talking to her. She was so sweet. Wait, you have to put the other one first.
Which other one?
With before and after, which is like she's short.
I don't know if I have that one.
All right, cool. So,
boys, I'm gonna jump off.
Sorry, wait a minute. Is it this one?
Yes. Grumps, go get some rest, brother.
Yeah, I'll see you guys.
All right,
man.
Love you, brother. Be safe.
All right.
So this is Jennifer Van Damsel, huge cosplayer, huge following, amazing human being. On the left-hand side, it's me meeting her for the first time at a New York Comic Con 2018. Grumps took that picture. She was in the Invicta line, and Grumps and I had no idea what the fuck we were doing. We just came across this line. I'm like, fuck it, we'll take a picture with her. And she was like, oh my God, you're so tall. So if you notice, her left leg's a little higher than her right leg. She took her heels off just to take a short picture. And here we are 3 years later on the right-hand side. She had her Converses on, and we were like, when I was talking to her, she was like, I recognize you from somewhere. And I was like, yeah, 3 years ago, this is the picture we took. And her friend or handler, Mary, she was like, oh my God, we have to replicate this picture. And as we take this picture, she's like, you have to put your left foot up a little bit. And she kind of did the same thing, trying to replicate it. So the other picture was the following day, where she was dressed as was it like a Victorian style phoenix, and she has heels on clearly because now she like grew another 6 inches, and and we just decided to take another picture together. Sweet ass cosplayer. She's a master of her craft. She also did a cover with Jimmy and a story and a lot of photography and stuff. Sweet as hell. I have some prints I got from her. Just awesome human being. She'll be on the podcast shortly. We'll get her on and bullshit a little bit. But it was great, like touching base with her and just talking again. I'm a really huge fan. If you see on the right hand side, her Catwoman cosplay. I was like, holy shit. I'm going to do that this weekend. She's like, I'll do it next time. And I was like, cool. But yeah, it was great touching base with Jen again. Stephanie Lavoud, or Lucky Star. Such an artist that we're all sleeping on. She saw me, and I still don't know if that's her man next to her. But like they all were like, Dave. and it came over and fucking hugged me, and I was like, holy shit, I feel like I'm hugging family members. With Stephanie, I picked up a print, not a print, but a commission for Legends at New York Comic Con 2019, and it was a print that she drew with a ballpoint pen of Nora and Mr. Freeze. And when I picked it up, I was like, "Oh, I'm here to pick it up for so and so," and she was like, "Oh, okay." And honestly, such a kind human being. She got so emotional, like trying to give that print to me, because she put so much heart into her art, and she was like tearing. She was like, "Oh, give me a minute," and she was staring at it for a minute, and then she handed it to me, and she gave me this huge hug, like it was my print. And you know what? Like I built such big of a relationship with her, because of that moment. And I was just like, she's like, "No, but you're here to pick it up. I know it's for your friend." And she was like, "You're a good friend for doing it for someone else." And I was like, "What the fuck? God damn it!"
You were like, "Yeah, he's paying me."
Yeah, no, he didn't pay me. He gave me my money back. But, but like she made it a moment. And then on Friday, I went to see her. I was like, "Oh shit, she's here. I gotta go see her." And she was like, "Oh my God, Dave!" Like I had my mask on, and like whatever. I'm 6'7". I'm memorable. She just like fucking like came over her thing and like gave me this hug, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like I felt like I just saw a family member in so long. So. Anyone, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you go to any con and she's there, you go over and fucking talk to this lady. You buy a fucking print. You hug her. You hug him too. He gave me a hug, and like, just great fucking people, man. And I saw her numerous times. And I felt bad I didn't see her Sunday, because Sunday I was just like, I gotta close out some shit and get the fuck out. And she was sending me pictures of Gotham, obviously, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. A lot of it took place in Chicago, and both of them are sending me pictures. Stephanie, amazing human being. Anytime she's in the States, go see her. Trust me, you won't regret it. Like it's so worth a visit. Look at that smile. Look how genuine that smile is. Like she's a great human being.
I'm not sure whose comics these next ones are, but.
Ooh, those are mine. So those are the Batman Adventures cereal box variants by David Nakayama. David Nakayama was at LA Con all the days. So I actually messaged him and asked him, if he was going to be there. And I asked him how much he was charging for his signatures. And he said, "Oh, you come up to his booth or his table, and there were free signatures." So the Harley Quinn one, which according to him is his favorite.
The best one.
That's his favorite one out of his 5 that he did. So Harley Quinn was his favorite. You saw Poison Ivy. I don't know what the next one you have is. Mr. J's.
That one's sick.
Yeah, there's 2 other ones. There's the Catwoman one, and then there's the Mr. Freeze one that's in there too. But he basically was, super nice. Like he was really, really nice about signing everything and just being super conversational about everything, to the point where I was like, you know what, I got to go get something else signed. I bought his Wonder Woman black and gold print that he had, and it was the last one he had on his booth. Took it off his little podium, and he signed it for me. So that was great, because I was trying to get his 1 in 25 variant cover, but I wasn't paying $150 for a book. So there's that. And then I actually went to another booth with my guys from that's the Wonder Woman black and gold cover, or the print that I got signed. And I went to I found a booth that had his Punchline 1 Virgin cover, and he signed that one. So I bought the book and I took it over to him, and he signed it. So I got like 7 signatures from the man, and it cost me nothing except buying the print from the black and gold Wonder Woman. But he was really, really cool about it. And it was just really, really fun. And he was super nice. And like anytime I get anything David Nakayama, which now I have, what is it?
That Harley cover, that ice cream shit.
Well, I have that one, but now this, where am I at? This. It's the holiday Christmas set, right? So this one. So I have that. So next time I see Nakayama, I got to be like, all right, I'm going to take that and go get that signed. So there's that.
I just got that too today.
Yeah, so I got to do that one now. That's the next one there. But so okay, so this one. So I have a couple friends of mine who are some big YouTube guys called the Comic Cave, Isaac, Jose, and Jason. And then they have a comic group or a shop that they work with called Ray's Comics with Liz. I didn't know they actually had David Nakayama already do a commission before I met up with them. And they were like, oh, we got to go see David Nakayama's booth. And I was like, oh, yeah, let me go. I already got a couple things signed. Let me go back over there. And I was like, look, I brought you more guys. And they're like, yeah, actually, we're here to pick up a commission. And I was like, well, I guess I'm the dumb one right now. So whatever. And they're like, he's like, oh, I just started on it. Can you guys give me a couple hours? Literally, when we met up with him, he had just the blue circles outlined. Within 2 hours, and I kid you not, within 2 hours, this was the final product.
Mastermind.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, when we picked it up, we were just like, Jesus Louise. Like, it was great. And then that is John, let's see what his name is. That's actually the colorist of Manuel Martinez. That's John Hagman. John Hagman is someone who does a lot of coloring for a lot of different people. But Manuel Martinez, he did the print for the Harley Quinn that you see right there, and he colored it. So John colored this for the first time ever. This is the first time Manuel has ever had any of this print colored whatsoever, to the point where he took a picture of it, posted on his Instagram, because he was like, oh, dude, this is sick. I love it. I want to do it. And I bought this one because I had ended up finding out that I bought a print from Manuel Martinez, who's a Northern California artist, before. I bought it secondhand. And I was like, well, dude, I got to buy it from you directly now. So I bought this and a Rogues Gallery print. But my daughter's name is Harley. So anytime I get anything Harley, I got to have it, specially done. So that was really cool for that one.
That's awesome.
What else is there? That's the Rogues Gallery one. I wanted to get that one colored. Now that I look back at it, I'm like, I probably should have got that one colored up, but I really like it. The idea is that it's so gritty and dirty, but the lines are clean. I really like what he does with that, and overall, like, there's a couple. I'll share with you guys the bat symbol that I have that has all the Rogues Gallery members in it, so you guys can see it, and I'll post it. But that's a really good Rogues Gallery set. But I think I sent you the Conroy one, and that was a separate email I think I sent you, Dave. But that was the end all be all one. I think you have that one. Yeah, that's it. That's the Conroy signature piece.
How good that looks, man! Like,
yeah,
yo,
that
like,
now sits
I was
in
like,
my office.
You sent me that picture, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I want this."
Yeah, that's
my
the one
name's Fernando now.
That's and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I actually thought, I really for a split second thought about asking him to sign it, the Nando Knight, but I was like, no, just Fernando's fine. We'll do that. Like, I want that. I want
it's
that.
Yours.
So,
that's it. It's yours.
Yeah, that was the creme de la creme of the week, of the Sunday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we got Sammy stuff up next.
Jim.
Big fire.
You're starting with the good stuff, I see. Wow. Yeah, so that was something I didn't think was possible. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Albert Moy, but he's
he's the dealer.
Yeah, he's a dealer who reps a lot of great artists, and I was going to his booth to scope out the Bruce Timm and see what he had for Bruce Timm, and unfortunately, things had gone up a lot in the past year from what I was hoping to find, and so I didn't do that, but I had seen on his Instagram that he was going to be taking commissions, just these little sketch cards. It's like a 7 1/4 inch by 3.5 sketch card, and it was, a Jim Lee piece can be, oh jeez, sorry, my phone is dying. Anyway, yeah, I know his pieces can be like 20 grand or something like that. And so when he was offering these, it was just like, oh my God. And do you think I could get it before the signing, on Saturday? And so I ordered that Thursday, first day. And I kept checking in. And luckily he had it done right before the signing. But he's like, so what do you want him to draw? I was like, Batman. And he's like, but which Batman? I was like, Hush Batman. I want the Jim Lee Batman. Come on, like, gotta get the real thing. So yeah, I couldn't believe it. I didn't think I'd ever get the chance again,
That's awesome. Here we go.
Yes. So that was day 2. I got to meet the legend DMC. He signed a few CDs for me, and his book. Highly recommend his book. I sort of traded him. I told him, hey, I've been making music my whole life, and you guys are a huge influence. So I gave him a CD of mine and my book as well. And he thought that was really cool. He had a lot of questions for me. He was like really engaging and just a real humble, down to earth dude for the king of rock, who inspired so many. So that was really amazing. And I thought it was cool too. He would write like, when he signed Tougher Than Leather, he signed, Tougher Than Leather. When he signs Raising Hell, he signs It's Tricky. When he signed his book, it was like Walk This Way or something. Like he'll do more than just his, his stage name on there, which was really nice. Yeah, now this is what I was talking about, dude. The 1-2 double commission.
That's so good.
So here's Mirka on the left, and I had paid her just for, they didn't have any blanks, and so I just paid her for a 9x12. And then when I was walking the floor, I found a blank and brought it back over there. And so she did just a mesmerizing sketch there of Punchline, and I had her sign my Punchline number 1, in which she did all the art. And while I was putting my things back in my bag, right after I ordered the commission, Alex Sinclair, who I had also just met, like I said, it was on his birthday, he comes over to her table, chatting her up, and they're both praising the shit out of each other. And, like, oh, I can't wait to work on your stuff again. I'd love to color your work again. You're so good, right? And so light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, shit, when I pick this thing up, I'm going to walk it right over to him. And that's exactly what I did. And he was blown away by it. And then, he did his colors. I picked it up the following day at the Scott Williams booth. And then I brought it back over to her, and she was blown away by it. And so it's just like a magic thing of each artist
difference from what you
inspired by each other
to him drawing, like him coloring it. Like, look how
so good,
man.
And he didn't think it'd be possible too. Like at first he goes, "Ooh, I don't know about this texture. It's like a real, almost glossy kind of thick cardstock cover." Yeah. And he's like, let me doodle a little bit on the back and try with my pencils and with my markers and see what it'll do. And he's like,
wow, man,
I think it'd be pretty good. And he's like, what do you think?
I couldn't make her list. Every morning, like at C2E2, before I could make her line, man, she was shut down.
That was first hour of first day on Thursday that I ordered that.
I'll get to her eventually.
Yeah. Oh yes, this is the Murphy piece. So like I mentioned, he had done a lot of
the Murph dog
and a couple remarks for me, for free, because I was like the first person in line, and they're like, oh yeah, you're a friend of Dunk. He had said like, oh yeah, I brought up cupcakes last time, and so I brought donuts this time. And
you can tell the whole story.
They were very gracious. Well, my phone's gonna die, so I might just disappear on you. But yeah, that was great. So like when they came in, not at their signing time, which was 10:30, but when the thing opened at 10, I was there with the food, just waiting. And so I bumped into them, and Sean shook my hand, and she's like, "Oh yeah, this is Dave's friend Sam," and like knew who I was because I had posted our reviews on the White Knight Harley recently, and so that was really nice. They were both super cool, and yeah, double remarked this for me. I didn't even ask for it. I was just like, "Yeah, will you sign this?" And he just starts fucking drawing. And so that Joker that you had up there, I went when I found those blanks. I went back to the table the second day or something, and I was like, hey man, I just want to support, and like, can I pay you to do, a Joker remark cover? And he left a little space at the bottom, so I went back again later and had Katana do the little hyena on there. She's like, this will probably devalue it, right? I was like, no, it means way more to me to have both of you on there.
That's your specialty. That's awesome, man. I'm happy that happened.
Yeah,
that made my day when you showed us the picture. When you showed me those pictures, I was like, yo.
Yeah, and I've mentioned this before on my Instagram, but like I've written a couple books, and I decided after 2 years of doing this show and reviewing comics and really getting into nitty gritty story stuff, it's like, man, I really have some ideas that I'd like to explore. And so I wrote 2 issues of my own Batman comic just for fun. And I really was inspired by the White Knight stuff and how referential it was, and how, it's clearly just them kind of creating like, oh yeah, this is the stuff I grew up on. It's very Burton and it's very Tim-verse, and he kind of just rolls that into his own thing. And so I got a couple of my scripts printed and bound, and I brought the first one to them, and Katana was like, oh, that's so cool, would you sign this for me? I'm like, what? Yeah. And so I signed that for her, and then they both opened it and were looking through it and like, asking me about characters I was using and stuff, and I was just like, wow, that's so just above and beyond. And again, that was the first 30 minutes of the first day, so I was just blown away by them.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you that you had that experience. That's just Sean Murphy and Katana Cons. That's who they are.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
Thanks for the tips on that. They were very grateful as well.
I got you, bro. How about Tom? What the fuck? You have pictures? Yeah, I'm mute.
No, actually, let me see if it's within reach. Give me 1 second. I might be able to. Is it right here? I thought
he only has pictures of Spider-Man spoilers.
1 second. Yeah, I'll be able to show you if I can find it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna reach over. I think it's right in my closet.
Now, Sammy, do you have a charger with you or anything, or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself again and put the charger on, but I gotta use the lightning thing for these. So
do what you gotta do, brother. I'm really happy that Sean Murphy and Katana Cons experience occurred, because I remember like I remember it's like, oh man, wait a minute, Sammy's going to Emerald City. I remember hitting up Katana Cons and being like, yo, do you guys need cupcakes or donuts or anything? And Katana was like, I'm never gonna say no. She's like, I'm never gonna say no to donuts or cupcakes. And I was just like, yo, I got a friend who's going over there. He can hook you guys up. And she was like, oh, my God, please. So I hit up Sam, and I tell Sam about it. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, I screenshot the conversation. I sent it to him. Then he screenshots the conversation that he's having with Katana to me. And I was like, yeah, you're good then, bro. You're good. We got you. And listen, to everyone who's listening, don't do that, because they can't have too many fucking donuts and cupcakes. You gotta go through one of us first.
Like if it's not duck approved, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, he greased the for it,
Right, he greased the wheels.
I had to make sure, because even like when Katana Collins was at New York Comic Con, and she posted that, and no one said anything. And I waited. I waited. I don't even know. I waited a day, and no one commented they're gonna do that. And I was like, yo, I messaged her. I was like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna be there Thursday, but I'll be there Friday. What cupcakes do you like? And she was like, vanilla. I was like, cool. And then Friday morning, like, whatever. I talked about it on Bat Force, but I left Albany at 4:30 in the morning. I was in Jersey at 6:45. I jumped on the bus. I got to New York about 7:15. I went to a hotel, picked up a free pass for a friend of mine. Thank you, Perfectly Teresa from the Shy. She hooked it up for a free pass for a friend of mine. I walked over to fucking Magnolia's at Penn Station. I messaged Katana. I was like, hey, I'm here. What do you need? And she was like, vanilla. And I was like, I got you. And I got 2, because I was like, you know what? Like, it's unfair to get her something. And the Murph dog, nothing.
Hey, Sean, nice got stuff for your wife. That's not weird, right?
Yeah. Like, And whatever. So fast forward, boom, I show up. They get their fucking cupcakes. And she sends me a picture of Murph Dog eating the fucking cupcakes. I'm like, great.
Nice.
It worked out. So, no, I'm happy it worked out for you, too.
Well, and it worked out perfect for me because I was on the hunt. You know, I didn't know where I was staying. You know, I didn't know the area really. And so I'm like looking at my fucking Google map trying to figure out, okay, what's got food? What's got cupcakes? What's got donuts? You know, and I found this place that was like super highly rated little boutique donut shop that was literally on the fucking way. Like I didn't have to go to a side street or anything. It was on my walk. And I walked in there and they're just massive. They're super good. I got one for myself and 2 for them. And yeah, it was great. Great way to start the day.
Tom, do you have any picture? You good?
No, I'm good. I just had the I was trying to find the actual figure. I thought I had it right here next to me in my closet, but it was just the Spider-Man Far From Home Tom Holland Spider-Man figure. But I can't find it. It's cool. It's like a Marvel Legends unmasked.
No. All right, cool. You had a good time in LA, obviously, and it was fast, but you know you had to cut it short because obviously the Bat Force is priority. And
yeah, go listen to that podcast with Joshua Williamson talking about his new run on Batman. So that's kind of what ended up happening with LA Comic Con. But yeah, it was good times though because I just needed to get back out to a con and just feel what it was like again.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to say, Tom, it was really nice of you to come out when I was in LA with my band. You know, he came out and did some photos with us, and they came out great. And you know, I really had no way to properly document that session. We were just down there for like 2 or 3 days, and you know, it was cool to meet you in person. And again, just awesome photos. So thank you for that.
Dude, that was cool, man. That was cool taking photos. And then it's funny because like, so Sammy's like, yeah, I'm gonna be down in Orange County. I'm like recording a punk album. I was like, all right. And he's like, you can come down the studio whenever you want. I'm like, okay. And I didn't even think. I'm like, wait, I fucking take photos. Like I should take pictures of it. I'm like, hey, dude, like, hey, if you want, like, I can bring my camera. Like, I need practice. I haven't gone to I haven't been shooting shows in a while. Like, I need to get dust off the camera. Like, you could have them. Like, I just, you know, whatever you want to use them for. And he's like, all right. So I went down there, started taking pictures of like the drummer that he's like using, and then I'm in there and I'm like, man, this guy's really fucking good. Okay. And then I'm like, wait a minute, didn't you say that he's in Death by Stereo? He's like, yeah. And then he was like, and fucking the producer used to be their bassist. He's the original founding bassist. So I'm sitting there like in the studio realizing I'm taking pictures of like one former, one current member of Death, one of the fucking punk bands I used to listen to the most in high school. I'm like, what the fuck? So that was dope, dude. That was really fun.
Yeah, dude, it was great.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Awesome. All right. So normally, typical podcast format at this time, after the photos, we let everyone say a message before we close up. And I'll say the final message. So, Tom, anything to say? Obviously, this is probably the last podcast for the year for the Everything Batman podcast. Anything you want to say going forward or whatnot? Related or whatever?
Yeah. You know, don't approach me if you see me in public. I don't have time for you. If I see you at a con, you know, I'm usually kind of like on the run. No, I'm just kidding. Like if you know, it's I love saying hi to people, and it's cool meeting you guys, talking to you guys, hanging out with you guys on the podcast. I know Nando, like we've been trying to figure out because of the pandemic, it's kind of fucked everything up for the past 2 years, but we always like go back and forth between like, yo, are you going to this? You going to that? And you're like, oh, I'm going Friday. Oh, fuck, I'll be there Saturday. So it hasn't worked out yet, but we'll figure something out. But
I still have a Batwing. I still have a Batwing with your name on it.
I got to come down for it, dude, because I know it's like, yeah, man, I just got to get through Christmas, take care of all the fucking all the people with their hands out, and then I'm gonna snag that. I was about to grab that.
Your wife and your son.
I don't call them that, but if you want to call them that, sure, yeah. Yeah. No, dude, those guys are getting hooked up, so yeah.
Cool. You just tell me. All you got to do is tell me, bro. We got you.
Yeah, dude. I gotta take a trip down there.
How about you, Sammy?
Yeah, man. I just take back everything nice that I said about Tom. No, just I had such a great time going up and doing this. I can't wait to do more. And, when I hit up Dunk and Nando the other day of like, yo, we just all did this. Like, let's fucking just get together and talk about it. We didn't go with anyone that we can, like Tom said, be back in the hotel and kind of geeking out. Like, let's
putting all your shit out on the bed.
Yeah, exactly. And so, man, I'm so happy to be part of this community, this crew, and I love it. Thanks for having me on the show a second time. Like, wow, it's unexpected, and can't wait for next year. Hopefully, I'll come out to New York, and we'll link up next year.
Awesome, heavily appreciated, man. Nando, what you got, man?
I mean, very similar to Sammy. I mean, I was telling you earlier, I was like, it's crazy that a year ago I was listening to all of you guys.
Yeah,
like all of you. Like I've messaged Tom, Sammy.
Podcast. Okay, come on, guys.
Yeah, right. Like from the Bat Fan Addict podcast.
Yeah.
On I listened to it from Apple iTunes and from the podcast app. And then Bat Force Radio, listening to you guys a year ago and just like talking to you guys and building a relationship. And it was crazy when Sammy goes, "Hey, come do an IG live with us." And I was like, okay. And then it's like, Dunk, you're like, "Hey, we're gonna do the show on my show too." And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I mean, I'm more of like the tag along on this one, but I was like, it's cool because the experiences are so similar across the board, no matter how much you've done or how much you haven't done. Because every experience is valid and every experience is individualistic, and it's so unique that it builds just to the continuation of the fanhood that you grow with. And we're all here we all go to the cons for the same reasons. We all go to the cons for the same purpose, and it's amazing and it's fun. And I'm excited for what next year's gonna have. And eventually Tom will show up to my shop and pick up a battling.
Yeah, man. Guys, I appreciate you guys jumping on. I know we went through a whole hiatus with Everything Batman. It was a really busy end of the second year. The second half of the year was crazy nuts. For myself, after the 2020's debacle and all the shit we went through, the community helped me. And, Bat Force became a family to me. Not just Bat Force, the community itself. I met people like you guys. I met people like Sammy. I met people like Nando. The cosplay community became friends with me. People who reached out to make sure I was okay because there was so much going on in my personal life. And it just gave me more ammunition to continue doing this podcast because it's important to have a sense of community. And what I learned, especially this year, and Nando, you and I spoke about it earlier, where it's like, here we are, a year ago, 2 years ago, we really didn't know each other. Same thing with Sammy. Tom, I didn't know much about you, 3-4 years ago? But here we go. We go to different cons, and in a way, we build a community where we help each other. It's like, hey, I don't have access to this. Can you help me? Can you get this for me? We don't overdo it. It's not like, hey, can you go to this person or this person, that another third? It's like, no, hey, listen, can you help me with this one thing? And that one thing makes a world of a difference. And that one thing builds a community. And that's something I wanted to do with this podcast. This podcast, I wanted to build a community. And when we started episode 1 in January, I didn't think it was going to build something. I just said, you know what? I want to interview people that are part of the community, and let's see where it goes. Episode 1 happened, and I got a huge response. And after the huge response, I was like, holy shit, there's something here, And because of my schedule and things I was involved in and things that happened, I wasn't as busy. I wasn't as active in the community as I should have been, or I wanted to. But I was, in a sense. And here we are 12 months later where Sammy got books for me at Emerald City Comic Con. I got signatures for Sammy. Nando Knight got a fucking Funko Pop for me that completes my collection. I sent books to him to get signed for me. People reach out to me and I get Amanda Conner sketches. I get signatures for people. And I'm not doing this to become a millionaire. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this to help the community. And
no, you need to tell everyone about your secret fees and charges.
yeah, it's
I'm still paying those off.
it's a hey, I got you now, you better fucking get me later. No. It's in a sense, it's like it's weird to me because I was talking to Nando about this earlier, where I'm in this weird place because I'm like, holy shit, like people are like helping me out, I'm helping them out, and it feels good, you know, it's that good feeling. It's like it's addicting, and I help other people just because it feels good, and it's like some people might say it's narcissistic, right? Because it's like, oh, I only do this because it feels right, you know? And it's not. I do things because it's the right thing to do. And I have access to a lot more things than other people do. So when you reach out to me and you ask me for something, you know what? Yeah, sure, whatever. Don't take advantage of me, though, because then fuck you. If you take advantage, fuck yourself. But
I'm not in the bat after all. What the fuck?
Go fuck yourself. No. But the most important thing is the sense of community. And the sense of community is that we all help each other in a way and no one takes advantage of it. And what I learned from 2021 after a shitty ass 2020, we all experienced it one way or another. There's a lot more positive that happens in this community than there is negative. And a lot of people tend to focus on the negative and make it their thing. Hey, listen. Tom has a great fucking time.
Where's Tom? How can I point at Tom when you say negative?
Well, no, Tom has a great time fucking pointing out the negative and trashing them.
Yeah.
You know? And that's fucking awesome because we need that. The negativity in this community is fucking bullshit. Go fuck yourself, guys. Stop the negativity. There's so much more positive out there. Focus on that. 2022 is going to be a fucking awesome year. Cons are back. We're going to be out there. The fucking creators are going to be out there. We're going to have an awesome time. We're going to hook each other up. We're going to have a fucking great time doing it. And guess what? We're going to keep on podcasting. We're going to have more people on this fucking show and other shows. We're going to keep on supporting one another. At the end of the fucking day, it's going to be great. So, for everyone who watches this show or hearing it right now, happy holidays. Happy New Year. And understand, every fucking day you wake up, become a better person 1% of the day, 1% every fucking day. Just be a better fucking person and stop focusing on negativity and turn off the fucking TV. TV fucking sucks. Don't watch the news.
But subscribe to HBO Max and watch all
and watch the Snyder Cut
for the
like
horde.
15 times. No, at the end of the day, thank you for tuning in. Get ready for 2022. It's going to be fucking great. Tune in to fucking Bat Fanatic. Tune in to fucking Bat Force. Tune in to everything we're fucking doing.
Wait, Nando, you have a show though, right?
It's called I Chose Last Time on YouTube. It's me and my buddies that follow. It's just a fun little conversational piece that we do. We try to do it like once a month, and it's just, basically if you and your boys get together at a pizza place and you're catching up and talking shit with each other, that's basically what we do. And there's an episode where we had Pocky hot ghost pepper chips, and I don't know, there's some of that out there too.
I didn't watch that.
In there too, because we're all,
Yeah. But for the comic side of everything, it's at the Nando Knight. That's the comic side of everything.
Follow us, enjoy it, follow each other, reach out, DM, whatever the fuck you gotta do, man. Thanks a lot. Awesome fucking year. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. New Year, new you, right? And